All right, that was fun. You guys probably saw that warning pop up. Anyway, let's get back into the second video here.
Persona is. Then we'll look at why user personas are necessary and how they help you design awesome products. I'll then show you how to define your own user personas, following a simple step-by-step process. By the end of this video, you'll understand the role that user personas play in the UX design process, and you'll have a method you can follow to create your own. Ready? Let's begin. So, what exactly is a user persona? Put simply, a persona is a fictional but realistic portrayal of a target user for your product. Each persona represents an entire group or audience of users. As a UX designer, you'll start the design process by conducting user research, building empathy with your target users, and identifying exactly what they need from the product you're designing. A user persona embodies everything you learn from the research phase: user needs and goals, behavior patterns, pain points, and any noteworthy user characteristics. You'll present your persona in a document, like the example shown on the screen right now. You can include an image and a made-up name, together with fictional details that help to build up your persona and make them feel real. If you're designing a holiday booking app, for example, you might mention that your persona loves luxury spa retreats but hates all-inclusive dining. You'll also add demographic information based on factual data gathered as part of your user research. Quotes from real users can also help to paint a vivid picture of your target user. Now we know what a persona is, let's consider why you need one in the first place. UX design is all about solving a real user problem, but you can't do that until you've established a clear problem statement. To write a meaningful problem statement, you first need to understand your users and their needs. Whether you're developing an app, a website, or a service, it's crucial to understand who will be using it. A user persona clarifies exactly who you're designing for. It acts as a point of reference throughout the entire process, making sure that every single feature or function you design is done so with the user in mind. Personas help with strategizing and making smart design decisions. They make real users memorable for the product team, helping to focus efforts and build empathy. A persona helps to answer the following questions. Who is my ideal user or customer? What behavior patterns do my users currently exhibit? What are the needs and goals of my users? What issues and pain points do they currently face within the given context? So, in a nutshell, user personas are crucial if you want to design something that's useful, desirable, and valuable to your target audience. A solid user persona is your North Star, guiding your design decisions from start to finish. Not only that, most designers work in multidisciplinary teams, where it's important to communicate your findings from the user research stage. Personas encompass all the essential details about your users, presenting them in a memorable way that everyone can understand, not just designers. So you must get your personas right, and I'm going to show you how. With introductions out of the way, let's get stuck into the persona defining process. We've broken it down into 4 simple steps, and I'm going to talk you through each one. You'll have a fully formed persona in no time. Before you can start defining your user personas, you'll need to have conducted plenty of research. Your persona needs to represent real.
So one of the things that we can, like, hopefully you've done some or you've got some research or some idea of, what's going on with the business. Using an AI tool or an extensive Google search where we're digging into things, those can constitute data. Frankly, I put more. Either one of those can get us, some level of confidence on our data. The closer we get to like talking to potential customers, actually taking down data and recording things, the better. But short of being able to do that in kind of our shortened time frame here, at least getting some confidence through some online searches, I think is beneficial.
Human users after all. So you need to have gathered sufficient quantitative and qualitative data. You'll organize all this information into persona groups that represent your ideal customers. These persona groups will then be
If
consolidated
we were
into
doing
single
multiple
user personas, and
personas,
that's what we'll focus on
but
shortly.
we're only doing one.
A word of advice when dividing up your data into persona groups. Remember to focus on the major needs of the most important user groups. You can't be everything to everyone, so don't even try. Do one thing and do it well. In other words, focus on one specific user group and one significant pain point. So, you've got your user groups and you're ready to turn them into user personas. Open up a blank Word doc and let's get started. The first step in the process is to add a header to your persona. This includes a fictional name, an image, and a quote that summarizes what matters most to your persona in relation to your product. So, the foundations of your persona might go something like this. Name, Savannah Rodriguez. Image, this cheerful-looking stock lady. Summary quote, take me to undiscovered holiday destinations away from the tourist traps. This first step might seem simple, but these features ensure that your persona is memorable, keeping the design team focused on who they're designing for. Now we're going to add some factual detail to your persona. We're going to add a demographic profile. Demographic details are based on user research, and the demographic profile of your persona can be divided into 4 main sections: personal background, professional background, user environment, and psychographics. The personal background section includes details such as age, gender, education, persona group, and family status. So Savannah's personal background might look something like this. Savannah, 52 years old, divorced mother of 2, has a master's degree in chemistry. Professional background includes details such as professional occupation, income level, and work experience. Here we might add that Savannah works full-time at a pharmaceuticals company and earns around $65,000 per year. Next, you'll add details regarding the user environment. The user environment represents the physical, social, and technological context of the user. The purpose of this section is to answer questions such as, what technological devices do users have access to? Do they spend most of their time in a corporate office or at home? How often do they collaborate with others? So Savannah's user environment could be in her office, mostly on a laptop, but also on her iPad when commuting to and from work. Then we come to the psychographic section. This is where you'll include details such as the user's attitudes, interests, motivations, and pain points. Creating a psychographic profile enables you to better understand why your user behaves in a certain way, including why they use your product.
I'm gonna let you actually listen to the psychographics part on your own, but what you'll understand is that this is much more about behavioral traits versus the other one are kind of like physical, traits. Who is this person? What do they look like? Where do they live? Versus like what do they? Psychographics is more like what do they believe. So I'll let you guys watch that piece, but psychographics gives us a true understanding of what's going on in the person's head, which is really important to think of. Okay, so let's stop sharing this. Let's come back to just me, and let's talk about why this is important and specifically how it relates to our customer, our item 2 for our assignment, our customer journey map. Okay, so what our customer journey map is, basically we want to think through what are the 3, 4, 5 kind of first steps that a customer will make as they move down the journey towards becoming one of our customers. Okay, so you need to think, okay, so Samantha Smith is our user profile, our potential customer profile, and Samantha Smith has zero idea that our business exists. No idea. And Samantha Smith is going to come into contact with our business in some way for the very first time. Now, you may be thinking maybe we're running a gym, a workout gym. And we may be thinking, okay, well, just off the top of my head, I got 2 scenarios. One is Samantha Smith is walking down the street and she sees our gym and she's like, oh, well, that's interesting. And she walks into it. Okay, cool. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is we post Instagram posts and somehow she comes across comes across our Instagram content and watches it. Okay. In scenario 1, the likelihood of her walking down the street into our gym and plunking our money down is approximately zero. And I hope you can appreciate the fact that that is likely true. Now, it doesn't mean it's 100% true, but the likelihood of somebody coming in off the street after seeing our sign and becoming a paid customer is close to zero. Okay, so in scenario one, what we want to identify is okay, that moment that we're going to use, our storefront is going to be the first step of when we think about a sales funnel. So our our leads come in the top and they dwindle down. So at each kind of step of our sales process, more and more customers basically self-select out. So step one was to walk in. Step two is to put their name on a list. Step three is to, get an email and maybe take an action, and whatever. Step four is they become they end up signing up for our service. Well, at each one of those steps, we lose people from our funnel. So what we want to think through is, okay, is step one, is it actually, is where I'm expecting Samantha Smith to come into the funnel, is it actually she's going to see my sign and she's going to come in? Or, is funnel two more likely, where she's going to see my Instagram post and then take some additional action that then leads to another action that then ultimately leads to somebody becoming a buyer? Now, the question would be, okay, so you're going to put out an Instagram post and this person's going to see it. Is your expectation. Now, while that may be true, I kind of take a little bit of, well, you're putting reliance of your ability to gain customers into the hands of a third party to promote your content, that you really have no ability to control. Now, so those of you that are really socially savvy, maybe you don't think that is true, and you think you can tune towards that. That's totally fair if you believe you can do that. That's not my method of selling, because I don't think I can do that. Now that might just be me though. That might just be the fact that I am who I am, and my skill set isn't necessarily aligned with that method of sales. So what we want to do is we want to put together this story of like, okay, how do we first come in contact with our customers, and what are the next couple steps that they're going to make to in the path of becoming one of our customers? Now, what you hear what I'm saying is in the pathway to becoming one of our customers, I'm not even suggesting that you need to come up with the full path of what it actually takes. What I want you to think through is, what are the micro actions that you think are reasonable that a customer would take? And one of the reasons we want to think about that is, okay, so if they're going to see our Instagram post, what's the next action? Is it liking that post? Is it posting a comment? And then what do we do once they post that comment? Do we re-engage? And then the question becomes, well, how many re-engagements are necessary, quote unquote, on average, let's say, to push that person to whatever the next step is down our sales funnel towards becoming our customer? And so we want to put together this real clear, and again, this is idealized if we treated every customer the same and kind of the same pathway worked for every single customer, which again isn't true. There's this normal curve. There's this normal curve of most of our customers will be in this center, and people towards the outside will be treated differently. But we want to think about, what is that core action? What is this core person, my core persona, what are the core actions? What are the standard actions that I believe they're going to take towards becoming a customer? And that's what we want to map out. And again, we don't necessarily have to have that thought through all the way to them plunking down our money, but we want to have thought a couple steps out, so that as we test those steps, we can tweak and morph and adjust and create marketing assets to try to force those functions to improve uh, our success rate in moving people from step one to step three. And we do these little incremental steps moving towards what's ultimately somebody paying for our product or service. All right. So that's how these two pieces fit together: our customer user persona, all right, and then our user journey map. They fit together because these people are undertaking this journey, okay? And that's how we want to think about these things. All right? So I think that's what I've got for you today. Go back and take a look at those videos in depth. Download the user profile document, and hopefully that'll put you on your way. Okay. Uh, we'll talk soon. Oh, if you do want help, feel free to book an office hour. I'm available to help. Thanks.